Good afternoon. I've actually stuck the phone for a change, so I've got my hands free. Yeah, I'm back again. It's now Friday, so this is my third cinema visit this week. And I've just been to see a film called The Last Letter from Your Lover. Now, I'm going to start by telling you, I've had a little cry. Or to quote The Mitchells versus the Machines, which is a Netflix film you should absolutely watch, I have made eye water. So this is a romance. It's based on a book, I believe of the same name, by the author Jojo Moyes, and she's responsible for writing Me Before You, which is phenomenal, and I've read the 2 sequels as well. If you've only ever seen the film version of Me Before You, which is good, but you haven't read the books, please do. So she's an incredibly gifted writer, and this story is absolutely wonderful. It's 2 parallel stories. So in the present day, you've got Felicity Jones of Rogue One, The Crown, and many other things fame, and also an actor called Naban Rizwan. I've just looked him up. I'm currently watching the 10th series of Taskmaster, and his brother is one of the contestants on Taskmaster. So when I read Rizwan as a synonym, I thought, I wonder if he's related to Moana, and he is. I'm not sure if I've seen him in anything before. It says it was in 1917, I guess, as a soldier somewhere. Do you know who I think he probably was? I think he was probably the bit in 1917 when they find all the other soldiers and they're sitting in the back of the van, you know, soldier transport thing, and they're all talking about where they're from. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a Muslim soldier there. That's probably him. And if it's not, then I've just come across as a gigantic racist, but I don't think I am wrong. Anyway, I digress. So in the present day, you've got those 2. Felicity Jones works at a newspaper called the London Chronicle, and Naban Rizwan plays Rory, who works in the archive section. So she's researching this story about a past editor of the paper who's passed away, and then going through this former journalist's old notebook, she finds this love letter, this really evocative love letter, and she gets pulled into the story of these 2 people back in the 1960s and their love affair. And the film is cut between the past and the present beautifully. So back in 1965, you've got the actress Shailene Woodley, who you will know from things like the Divergent series, and she's in Big Little Lies, she's in all sorts of stuff, she's very good. So she is Jennifer Sterling. She's married to a very wealthy and high-profile Englishman. She's clearly not very happy in her marriage, but she does play the part of the dutiful wife. You know, she does what's expected of her, and she has a very comfortable and glamorous life. And while she's out on the French Riviera with her husband, who's out there for business and pleasure, she meets a journalist who comes to interview her husband, and the journalist is called Anthony O'Hare, and he's played by Callum Turner, a handsome gentleman, may I just say. And this love affair starts between them, and it's intense and it's beautiful, and there's these letters between them, and as I say, we flip back and forwards between the present day and what's going on with Ellie, Felicity Jones' character, researching this story alongside Rory, and then the story in the past of Jennifer and Anthony, and that's it. It's really beautiful and believable and joyous and well written. It looks stunning. I could do an entire video on Shailene Woodley's wardrobe for this film. The 1960s fashion is like off the goddamn chain. She looks insane, like peak Jackie O. She's got incredible suits and hats and big sunglasses, and she's driving up the roads of the French Riviera in an open top car with a bloody scarf thing around her. She is like absolutely iconic, and while she looks so glamorous and so beautiful, you can just see that behind all that sheen and glamour, she's miserable, because, you know, she's married to a man she doesn't love, and then into her life comes this man, and it's about the relationship between them, and oh, it's ruined me, man. Because now all I can think of is I'm on bloody Tinder and Bumble, swiping away, looking for someone who can spell and isn't awful. And I've just watched such a romantic, wonderful film, but not like soppy and not really saccharine. It had real heart and actually was really like gut punchy at times. You know, had loads of twists and turns. It was absolutely superb. And I'm not a huge fan of, I certainly don't watch a lot of rom-coms, and it's not that I avoid romantic films, but they're not my go-to. You know, I'm not that kind of woman when it comes to film. But this was just wonderful. It looked great. All the performances were tip-top. It was well directed. Obviously, the source material from Jojo Moyes was spot on, and it all just added together beautifully. Honestly, I enjoyed this immensely. It was beautiful. And now I'm just going to go and cry into my pillow about romance and the French Riviera, 60s outfits, and how I'm probably going to die alone. So yeah, go and see The Last Letter from Your Lover. It's a belter. One more thing before I go. Middle of the day, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a smattering of punters. 2 older ladies come in. I'm going to guess older, like, daughter and then elderly mother, because they were both knocking on a bit, but fair enough. First scene of the film, or first couple of scenes, when we're in the 1960s, one of the mobiles goes off, but because it was a ring, like a telephone ring, we thought it was in the film. Then she was like, I heard her go, how do I turn it off? Because obviously she was startled by her own mobile phone, so that was quite funny. And then about an hour in, or an hour and a half into the film, the older one had obviously nodded off, because like we all just heard her go, ah, where am I? And I was like, oh dear. And our mate's going, or our daughter's going, shh, you're in the cinema. And I was like, Jesus. They complain about young'uns making a noise and a disruption with their mobile phones, but yeah, really tickled me. The film's gorgeous. Go and see it. That's it. Katie out.